Okay. Hi, I am doing another birth chart reading for Niall Horan. Um, I did one, and so I'll be doing a second one. So in the other one, I talked about the sun in the 12th house, and I missed a few things. So it's the house of it's like hospitals and asylums and hidden things, and so you can like maybe, I don't know if you volunteer or do work, or you could, I mean, do work with such places, or be interested in it, even if it's not a job you do ever or anything, Um, and it's the hidden pleasures house, sexuality. So it's, like, you can, like I said in the other video, your ego, your sun is your ego and your identity. So you can like, it's for one thing, you can tend to have be sexual, like, and do like hidden things, like about such things, like, be private about it, hidden, have a tendency to have that kind of personality, and like be, and how, whatever your life is like that, like you can like, and that's the part of um the that part of the house you can like figure out, like I said, your identity is, you don't really know what it is, but you can figure out what your identity is in that kind of a way, um however that is, like, I don't know, I mean, even if you don't really like, if you didn't know any of this about you, what I'm telling you in these videos, like, it's natural to somehow do such things, So I think you could, if you think about it, like you can like figure it out for yourself somehow, what all that can mean for you personally, because even if someone else has that placement, their birth chart is going to be so different from yours, that it could be a different, whatever life for them somehow or another. So that's the sun in the 12th house, which is a part of the quadrant that I want to talk about. Your list of planets, in one of the four quadrants. If we look at Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, so we look at which quadrant it's in. One and four. The 12 houses are separated into four quadrants, three houses for each. So we look at those planets, where most of those are in which quadrant. So yours, you have most of yours, it's not all of them in it, but it's in the 12 first and second houses. So that's the quadrant that is all about self. So especially like for work or for whatever, like hobbies or whatever, like you by yourself, like you're self motivated is what that means. Um, like the other ones are independent or other or private. So you could think about those words, what that means. So, but like for you, you're really self motivated, so you don't need anyone to motivate you or anything. Um, Unlike me, like mine's in the others quadrant, so I need people to motivate me. But you are the opposite of that, So That's what that means. And so the 12th, I talked about the 12th house. The first house, you have Mercury, Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars there. So Mars, in the first house is all about yourself. Like, it's your public persona and your appearance. So Mercury, Jupiter, and Mars there, it's very obvious, like if it was going to be in the 12th house, it'd be more hidden, as an example of what I'm talking about, like Mercury things or Jupiter or Mars things, which I'll explain. But for the first house, like it's very visible, it's out there in the, public kind of a way of being. So Mars, I don't know if this is very well. I don't have very many notes here. I know what this means, so I'm just gonna explain it like without notes very much. So Mars is all about aggression and energy and passion, and like if you get pissed off or not, like that's Mars said about you. So your Mars is in Libra, but it being in the first house though gives it a different flavor because Mars is the first house. Mars rules Aries. Aries is the first house, and Mars is all about aggression and energy and passion and telling people what you think or what you feel. It's a placement where like you're not afraid of that. Like if you believe something, like you're gonna want to tell people about it. Um, it's activity in sports also, so maybe you could be interested in sports. It's but like I said, one of the important things to know about it is that um like I said, I basically said this, but I just wanted to like mention it. Like it's important to know that like the first house, planets in the first house means it's going to be very visible to people what your personality is like. And Mars in Libra is very nice, like um Mars or Libra is the balance sign, like harmony and peace, and like um wanting to get along with people and things like that. um so your Mars being in Libra, but your Mars being in the first house, though, which is the Aries house, means that there's kind of a mix of that happening with your personality. So, because it's opposite. Aries is the first house, that's Mars. And and Libra is the opposite of Aries. So there's an opposition, kind of an aspect going on, even though it's not quite said that way. It's not like a true aspect, but like you always have to look at both kind of things going on, like what house it is and what planet is in it, like and like what zodiac sign is in that, and your ascendant sign is Libra. So there's a mix of Aries and Libra going on there. Aries is all about yourself and aggressive and like independent and wanting to do things yourself, which is what that whole quadrant is about. So Mars being in the first house is just like, it's like gonna be like, telling people how you feel, and like you can be aggressive sometimes at times, because there's Libra there too, so it's the opposite. So it's not going to be always, Libra's not aggressive at all, and it goes to great lengths to not like have problems with people, and like even like being too quiet sometimes. So wherever Libra is, your Mars in ascendant, it can balance that out, because you don't want to never tell people what you feel, and you don't want to always just be so aggressive that like you can't get along with people. Which, I mean, you can, so like, um, but I can see a mix of this in your personality, though. Um, from what I've seen, like on Twitter, and like of your videos, music videos, concerts and stuff that is online. I can see a mix of this in your personality. Um, and so it's kind of like an opposition, like of zodiac signs, or like the house being related to the certain zodiac sign, and that like your Mars being in Libra and your ascendant being Libra, like that kind of an opposite thing going on. Always kind of like, like one day you might be really kind of in a Libra mood, and the next moment you might be in an Aries mood, Marsy kind of mood. So if people see that about you, and uh, you know, uh, they don't know you very well, or just met you, and like then the next moment is the other one, Mars kind of, or Libra. It can be kind of like surprising a little bit, like with anyone, like with that kind of opposition kind of thing going on. Like it kind of gives people sometimes like like I said, it's either like people see you and they're like, so I thought he was this way, but he's that way, even though you're kind of like a mix of it all. And the other thing is, an opposition like that in your personality can be kind of a struggle to, like, to deal with that a little bit, even though it's not like some huge issue. It's just a kind of, it's just an opposition, um, is naturally that way for anyone in your birth chart. Um, so it's something to think about a little bit. Like if you notice that, like especially Aries and Libra is kind of, really, Libra's indecisive, Aries is decisive, um, you know, Libra's harmony and peace and whatever, Aries is all about aggression and, energy. And so it can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes to balance that out a little bit, and like, um, kind of like, if you really, if you're with other placements in the birth chart, like, it's just something to think about, just something I wanted to mention. Like, with some placements, you have like the sun in the 12th house, hidden personality, especially with Libra on the ascendant, like you can want to be like, peaceful and harmonious, whatever, and, not, aggressive, but then at times you have that hidden thing with the 12th house, um, the sun in the 12th house, where like you feel like you should be trying to work on that, what I said in the other video, like making sure you're, showing people your ego in a healthy way, and your power, not hiding it. The opposition kind of situation that I mentioned. It can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes to, which one should I be, which way should I be, or, you get frustrated around people because they think this or that of you, and, it's just something to think about, like for you to deal with how the best way you can, or, how it suits you the best for, the least amount of stress for you, whatever, so in Jupiter there, Jupiter is a luck planet and expansive, and so it can make you have a little bit of an ego, but Jupiter is always benevolent, like not mean, never mean. Jupiter is a good planet, always. It's not like really like a bad planet ever. It's actually a really good planet, but wherever it is, it just expands things. So there can be that, like I said, but it is very, like, it's the wisdom planet, the knowledge, your higher beliefs, or your belief system, and so it can be very kind and generous, like, not mean, but just um a mix of a little bit of an ego, and then like being kind and whatever, and all that stuff. So it's it's a good placement to have. You can sometimes be lucky with first house things, which is it's your whole like path in life. Your ascendant is um so sometimes you can like have it can be a placement for wealth, maybe a little bit. um uh, that's basically what that is. Mercury there, Mercury is all about communicating and thinking, and it's your sense of humor. um so depending on what your Mercury is, which I do know what it is, but I'm not going through the planets and the zodiac signs so much in this video. So anyway, but Mercury there in the first house is very noticeable. Like, can give you a talkative kind of personality, and like wanting to get your ideas across to people, which is a good thing. And it's skills. So it's a good placement to have for like having skills. Like being able to use your skills. On um, putting that to good use, and being naturally good at that. Um, like I said, it's a placement of like really being talkative and like outgoing or social, or um, Mercury is it rules Gemini and Virgo, and so it rules your sun sign. Your Mercury is in Libra. So it's Mercury in Libra wants to be peaceful and get along with people and stuff, but it's a very like outgoing, like social placement to have, though. And Mercury uh uh skills, about the skills you could have is like um especially if Mercury rules a planet, in your birth chart, one of the personal planets, one of the 5 personal planets, it can make it be like a you have like like jack of all trades kind of personality, like you're good at this and that and the other thing, a little bit of each, like you're naturally good at picking up skills, that's what Mercury is all about. And Pluto is in the second house, and that's the third house in this quadrant of, the self, so Pluto is all about transformation and growth and possessiveness. In the second house, that's your values. It's love and it's financial matters. So it's you can be possessive of your belongings, what you own, and your the way you believe, or what you value, and who's in your life, and your relationships, and um, it's a placement where like you can have like a transformation of like your values, at some time in your life, especially with Jupiter transits and stuff like that. If you're around certain people or in certain situations, it can definitely happen that way where like you can I was just looking at the battery. Um, you can have this transformation of your values, like which could very well be a good thing, like could be about and you're the other video I made about moon. It's in your moon is in Leo in the 11th house, and the 11th house is the Aquarius house, and Leo and Aquarius are opposite. So, like I was saying, it's that opposition thing again about your emotions, because your emotions are the zodiac sign that the moon is in, but the house placement is a big part of it too. Leo is emotional and sensitive, and it's Leo is generous and friendly, and it's the ego. It's the sun. Sun rules Leo. So if you get hurt and don't feel like you're getting enough love from people, you can get hurt. But then, on the other hand, there's times when you're the opposite, because your moon is in the Aquarius house, which is the second unemotional zodiac sign. So you can, tend to be back and forth with that, that kind of an opposition, thing going on, like I said about the other one, about Aries and Mars and Libra, so your moon is, um, like I said, it's not completely a lonely moon. It's with Venus, but it's less of a shield. And your moon, like I said, it's from time to time it's the opposite. It's unemotional and friendly, though. The 11th house is the social house, like groups of people. It's games and your wishes and your hopes, and like I said, groups of people who you're equal to. So that means like where you get your gains from, like some somewhat is like it's somewhat of a social kind of status thing, a little bit like um with gains, but the 11th house is groups of people you belong to. So that means you're all equal. Like the 11th house is Aquarius, and it's the humanitarian kind of personality that you have, and like I was saying, like Aquarius is like we're all equal. Like no one's Aquarius in the 11th house is all about there's no classes. It's all about like you know no one's better than the other. Aquarius is all about seeing people like unusual kind of people, different from different groups. Like every group there is, on this planet. Like Aquarius can see that and like want to be a part of each group and be friends with like different types of people. So and Leo is a celebrity of the zodiac. So there's that opposition thing going on. So it can give you a like, especially in your business, it's natural to call people fans. But that's the 11th house, so it's like your groups of people you belong to. That's the 11th house, so it's it's the house of we're all equal. But like your moon being a Leo, though, and it's the celebrity of the zodiac, it can give you that opposition thing where like you're you know one moment you're like, yes, we are, but then the next moment you're like, and I'm just saying this as a professional astrologer talking about astrology. Leo is the celebrity of the zodiac. It's the ego. So there can be times where you have an ego and you're like, no, I'm better than you. That's what Leo owns. You know, the the celebrity of the zodiac. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, even though you know any zodiac sign doing what it naturally does can have its own ego and have its own struggles with that, have its own attitude about each thing that each zodiac sign owns. So, but there can be that opposition, like um one kind of moment you're the 11th house more, and then your moon is your emotions, and then the next moment Leo, and it's just a natural thing of opposition. Like you don't like really like you're not just one way, um and that's basically what I wanted to say about that, because I wanted to say that in another video and didn't. So that's that. And so I think I'm just gonna stop there. I covered fortune in the moon and the quadrant. So that's basically what I wanted to say about that. So yeah. Hope anyone that watches this video likes this. So um, thanks for watching, and maybe some other time I might do more birth chart readings for you. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's basically um the moon placement and the quadrant and fortune is what I cover in my foundation, free for everyone. So I just wanted to make a video for you about that for you, in case you're interested in it. So anyway, thanks for watching, and if you want to leave comments, on this video, feel free, anyone that watches the video.